Now, this is a interesting take here because in this KVJ court, we try to settle disputes happening between couples. This husband and dad here is flabbergasted at what his wife is doing. He says, look, I am confident that my wife is doing something that no other mom anywhere does. Here's what he says in his email to us. It says, my son is in the second grade and he's doing great, despite my wife's attempts to smother him. If my wife had her way, my son would be in bubble wrap and would never leave our house. I guess I never realized that we would parent so differently when we first got together. And she said that she never expected that she would be this kind of helicopter mom either. But here we are. It is a constant tug of war with her and I trying to assert our independence on our son, and my wife then trying to reel him back in. A prime example is the fight we are currently in about getting my son to and from school. I convinced my wife to let my son ride the school bus, which is a big win for me. But my wife is so paranoid that something is going to happen that she is now following the bus to school every morning, and then she follows it back home in the afternoon. She insists that she stays hidden and gets home before our son does to greet him at the door. This sounds insane, right? Then apparently you guys talked about motorists not obeying traffic laws and driving around school buses yesterday that are dropping kids off. So now she used that against me last night to justify what she's doing.
Oh, no.
I'm just asking if there is any other parent anywhere in your audience that puts their kid on the bus and then proceeds to follow it to school. Yes, I do have a wager riding on this. Okay, what are your thoughts on what this mom is doing? He thinks it's smothering, it's damaging, and it's insane. But do you see where she's coming from, Virginia, as a mom yourself?
I do totally see where she's coming from. This is her baby, and she wants to be protective. And it's crossed a line, though, of now I think you're letting it get away from you, and it may be a little bit borderline psychosis with it.
Okay.
I think you need some professional intervention, and I think all of you need to go to a little therapy because you are probably, just like all of us moms do, just sitting there in your head thinking of all the things that could go wrong, all the bad things that could happen in any given day. Oh my gosh, the bus, the this, the that. Instead, you have to flip it. And we learned this in therapy, me and Rocco. We flip it now. Instead of thinking of all the things that could go wrong, think of all the things that could go great.
Right.
He's on the bus. He's making new friends. He's learning how to be independent. He's learning how to grow up. He's learning how to have conversations with kids he's never met before. Like, there's all kinds of great things about riding the bus. You're just so in your head with all the things that could go wrong, you're driving yourself nuts.
Okay.
It's not healthy for you. Never mind what you're doing to him.
A lot of people think that she has something that you could probably put a name on and diagnose in therapy.
Yes, it sounds like
it's a psychosis.
Some form of OCD or
It
some
is.
type of like a worrying phobia.
There's a thing that happens now, and postpartum OCD is a thing, and women are talking about it, and this can be one phase of that where she's just obsessively thinking about, I have to watch every minute of his day and make sure nothing goes wrong.
Yeah, well, my mother was a lot like that. I wasn't allowed to ride the bus either because of the same reason. Something was going to go horrible. I wasn't allowed to go to the safety patrol thing in Washington, D.C. because I was going to get kidnapped there.
Yeah.
And it's a psychosis.
Yeah, Lisa's saying, I see things like this in the mom's Facebook groups. She definitely is not the only one.
She's not the only one, but it is a psychosis. This is not normal. This is not healthy. Never mind him, your child. It sounds like he's doing great. You're doing this to yourself, and you're going to make yourself worse until you get help.
Okay. So you got the mom following the school bus to and from school every single day. And we asked, do you get what this mom is doing? And 18% of people actually do. They understand it.
Well, I think you can understand that you worry about your child, and I think you can empathize with that.
We all get it. Well, most of us just don't have the time to devote to the project.
Right.
But a lot of moms would love to follow the school bus, but it's not healthy.
Exactly.
Okay. Yeah, so a lot of people are agreeing that it's not healthy, but some people are. So if you had the wager that your wife is the only person who is doing this, I haven't heard of anybody who is doing it. Some people understand. Is there any other parent out there that takes their kid to the bus stop, waits for the bus, and then follows it all the way to school? I'm curious if anybody else is doing that. That's what the call out is.
There might be, Kev.
Okay.
There might be.
That's what he's asking for.
And
Can you find one other person doing this?
If you're doing this, you got to get some help for you.
Okay. 877-979-WRMF, 877-979-9763. If you're a mom doing this too, let us know. Okay, some people have sounded off on this mom that is following her kids' bus to school every day. The kid's in the second grade. The dad wanted the kid to get some independence, and that's why he encouraged the mom to say, let him ride the bus. He needs to start growing up and getting some independence. So then he found out that she was then following the bus to school and then on the way home. And I guess at some point she passes the bus and then gets there to try to act like she wasn't. Hey, welcome home. So it's an interesting thing here. And he just put out the challenge. Is there anybody else out there who is doing this? Because he has a wager with his wife trying to say, I don't know, this is a little bit too much.
She may not be the only one, but that doesn't mean she's not losing her marbles a little bit on this one and going down a rabbit hole. And I've seen it. It's actually happening to people on reality television that are talking about it, and it's real.
Now, Allie from Port St. Lucie is saying she also does this. Allie, why are you following your kids' bus to school every day?
Hi. So I am following their bus because, sadly, last year, 2 of my kids were bullied, and, the bus driver did not do anything about it. So I kind of wanted to make sure that that wouldn't happen again. Not that I don't trust the bus drivers, but I really don't trust them. So they kind of get their independence, but also I'm following them just to make sure if something happens, I'm very close by.
Okay. Interesting. All right.
What are you going to do, though, from your car and behind the bus? Would you even be able to see what happened?
I won't, but I do have a phone for my oldest, and so if something happens, he'll call me, and I'm first on the scene.
Mama's right there waiting. Okay, interesting. So if anything goes down, Allie's going to jump right into action, stop that bullying.
Hopefully it's only a short-term solution, and you're not going to do this for years and years, because it sounds like it's really a big project.
Okay, but do you think it's a worthwhile project?
I don't have to. I don't want to do this forever because, like you said, they do need their independence, and if they know that I'm always close by, they won't, feel independent. They'll always feel like I'm there. But for right now, I will definitely be there.
Let me tell you what I did. So figure out which bus stop the bully gets off at, and then be waiting there at that bus stop when the bully gets off the bus, and let him know you're watching.
Okay, so you're
I like
recommending.
that idea, Virginia.
I spoke directly to the bully.
So intimidate other children.
Yes.
Yeah. That's the message I got.
I don't have time to follow the bus. That's time consuming to follow the bus.
Okay.
Just go right to the source of the problem and let him know you're watching.
Okay. All right. So you're getting that, people? If you're taking notes, intimidate other children.
And if you want, throw in a hiss. Hiss at them as well. Really send that message of horror.
Yeah. Maybe have like a billy club and be tapping it in your hand or something like that.
Half your
Virginia?
hair's in rollers, half of it's not. I mean,
Okay.
just look like
unhinged.
you don't even know what direction you're going to go next.
Put some fangs in your mouth and smile.
Yeah. Okay. Hope everybody's getting this down.
No, I get it. Bullying, when someone's bullying your kid, it does make you go a little bit crazy. It does.
Sylvana from Boynton Beach does the same thing, follows her kid's bus to school behind it. Why are you doing it, Sylvana?
It's Silvana, but that's okay. The reason I don't follow them every day. I used to. My kids are grown now. I had a lot of issues with the bus, and telling the school. I called the bus system. They did nothing about it. The bus they were on got in 2 accidents. The bus driver was bullying the kids. Threatening them. He'd always pull on the side of the road and made the kids late every single day to school.
Wow.
So, when he did that, I would follow it. And when he pulled over, I would get my kids out and get them to school myself. There was a roach problem on the bus, and they didn't take care of it. He would be screaming at the kids, threatening them. Then another day, my daughter got suspended for talking back to the bus driver, but my daughter was out sick that day, and the girl pretended to be my daughter and gave my daughter's name, instead of hers. So, thank God there's cameras on the buses, because I had to go to the school board. It was a disaster. They finally got rid of this bus driver, but that is the reason I followed them. I wasn't a psycho mom. Is just the bus issues with the bus driver. He'd always turn around when they left school.
But at that point, my question to you, hold on real quick. Silvana. At that point, why didn't you just drive your kid to school?
Well, I couldn't drive them to school because I had a job, but those days I told my boss what was going on, and I took the mornings off until I had enough proof and situation, because they didn't believe me at school.
Okay. All right. Interesting.
My word. Okay, that's a lot of stuff on the bus.
Okay.
Sounds like a Netflix finale.
Sounds like a WWE special, doesn't it? All the chaos.
WrestleMania on the bus.
My goodness. Kids learn how to fight at least, right? Put them up.
It's true now. Not all bus drivers are created equal. And some of them, just like some of the people you run into in Walmart, are crazy. There's crazy bus drivers, just like there's crazy people walking around planet Earth.
Well, we're finding out that there are some moms that relate to this. They get it, and they have their reasons, and they're not going to make any apologies for it. So I guess you got to back off, Dad.
But I think her case is different. Like, these moms that called in today had reasons: bullying, roaches, like things that were happening on the bus that they were worried about.
Right.
It doesn't sound like that first mom's story. Like
it's not justified yet.
Right.
Okay. All right. Well, if you got your own thoughts on this or your own problems, you can always send us an email, mail@kvjshow.com.
This is how we do. It's the KVJ Show.